Okay, so the image that we're going to be using will be in your Schoology account. It's going to be this rocket here. We're going to use this as a reference image. So what you're going to do first is delete everything from your workspace here. Then we're going to hold down Shift A, image, and select reference. Then you want to find where you saved your image and click on load reference image. Okay, so now if we press in on our keyboard, this menu here will pop up, and we're going to go ahead and set this X, Y, and Z here for the rotation to 0. Okay, so that it's laying flat. Then you can press in to hide that menu again. Okay, so first what we want to do is check the opacity and then turn it down. I'm going to try 0.2. That way we're able to see through it whenever we create our things. The next thing we're going to do is move it down a little bit. So I'm just going to use my Z function here, and I'm going to put it at negative 2.5. Okay, so that it's a little bit below there. And then I'm going to click on my C view and hide my panel there. I'm just going to situate this, maybe zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is make it to where we can still see this image, but that we can't select it and move it around. So make sure you have it selected, and you're going to come up here to this little funnel looking thing and click on selectable. And then you want to disable selection by clicking this. And then now you can't select it at all. That way we're not accidentally selecting it while we're trying to model it out. Okay, so first we want to add a mesh cylinder. And we see that we need to rotate this here. And we want to rotate it along the x-axis at 90 degrees. So you can go ahead and change that, and now it's the same shape there as it's the right. Now it's the same direction as our rocket. So go ahead and view your cylinder in X-ray mode, and then go into edit mode. And if you want, you can go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so make sure you have your vertex select, and we're going to highlight these bottom vertices here, and we're going to move them down along the y-axis until they meet the bottom of the rocket there. Okay, then you're going to select the top vertices and do the same thing. Move them up until you get to the top of your rocket. That one should be about even with this line from our reference image. Okay, so now we want to create some loop cuts here. Control R and scroll with your mouse so that you have 3 loop cuts. And you can go ahead and set them here, and we'll adjust them. So I'm just going to kind of leave mine where the top of this one's right above that line, and then I'll go back and adjust it. So we're going to start adjusting these. I'm going to highlight this line here, and if it's not already, make sure it's lined up with that top line, and we're going to scale this in. And make sure when you're scaling, you're using, just start off using the white line. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of line it up kind of in that black line there. I'm going to move on up, highlight this top set, use my white line to start scaling it in, and then I'm going to come click on my resize and change these numbers to 0 so that it'll create a nice point. Okay, so now let's come back down. I'm going to highlight all of these bottom vertices, get my scale, and scale those in on that white line there. And again, I'm lining this up with the black lines. Okay, so after that, we can go and kind of start adjusting these lines here. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to move it up so it's the same as this top line here, right here. And then if I need to scale it in, I can scale that and just a little, whoa. I'm trying to line it up with my black line. I think that's okay. I'm going to select this one now, extend that out towards my black line. Okay, and so you can see that we definitely need some more loop cuts there. So I'm going to go ahead and push Control R, click, and then create a loop cut somewhere here in the middle. Use my scale tool to scale that out. Then you can decide if you think you need more or you need to move it, maybe adjust it how you think you might need to. I think I need to extend this one out a little more. And I think I need another one down here. I'm going to push Control R and maybe put it here. Scale it out using the white line. Okay. And I feel like I need another one over here. Push Control R and about right here. Not quite how I want it yet. So you're just trying to line up these outside lines with your rocket. Then you can exit out of your X-ray mode and look at it in object mode just to kind of get an idea of what it's starting to look like. Okay. If something's looking wrong, just call me over and I'll come help you out and try to see how we can fix it. Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do, turn back on your X-ray mode. You can see here how the top here is not quite lining up. So I'm going to add a loop cut, Control R, and maybe come about midway and extend that out using my Y, oh, not that, that's rotate. My scale tool, the white line. For this one, I'm not going to use the black line because this one comes up way above the black line. So I'm just going to use the red one for that. So I think that looks a whole lot better. And now what we're going to do is create a loop cut here to make this little cutout. So go ahead and push Control R, click, and bring it up. Zoom in here. And we're going to use our face select now. And hold Alt and select this line. And it should select all your faces. So now what we're going to do is extrude it inward. So if you press E on your keyboard, you'll see it starting to extrude, but that's not the way we want it. So we're going to get that lined up there. Click once, so it'll hold that in place, and then press Alt Shift, and then you can extend that, extrude that inwards there. Okay. Then we're going to go down and do the same thing down here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to need to create 2 loop cuts here. So I'm going to push Control R, and put one here, and then Control R, and put one here. Okay, again, I don't know how I got in a different mode, but face select, hold down the Alt key. I need to probably check that one if I was in the right mode. And select the faces there. Again, you'll press E, then click once, hold down Alt Shift to extrude inward, just like that. Then I want to check mine to make sure it went all the way around because I don't know if I had my right selection. Okay, yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so let's go back into edit mode. We're going to look here at the bottom and make sure your bottom looks like this, okay? It should be circular. We're going to go ahead and select with our face select the bottom of that and do an inset faces to about right here, and then we're going to click on that again and do another inset faces. Okay, so now let's go back to object mode. And we're going to go to our modifier panel here and select the subdivision surface. Go ahead and increase that to 2 and then come down to data properties here. Click on normals and check the auto smooth button here. And then go ahead and right click and click on shade smooth. Okay, so hopefully yours looks nice and you're happy with that. So now we're going to start forming this shape. So go ahead and go to go to add mesh plane. We can go ahead and move that down here. We can go into edit mode and turn on X-ray. Okay, I don't know. And I need to move this up a little more. I just want the whole thing to fit in there. Okay, so we want to get our vertex select and select this. Let's move this over a little bit more first. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, vertex select. We're going to select this vertex here. And we're going to move it, but instead of moving it with these, we want to hold down G so that we're able to freely move it around. And we're going to line that up with the right here at the end of the rocket, and come select your next one and press G to move that one. And actually I'm going to move this, or sorry, adjust this with the black line. I'm going to move this one up. And move this one to the kind of bottom shape here. You just kind of want to make sure these are touching the rocket shape that you have. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to select our edge select and select this edge to extrude that. Yeah. So extrude this first a little ways. Then you can go back to your vertex select here and kind of move these, adjust these. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to select this here again and just kind of extend it. To about here. Get my vertex select to extend this one. Okay, I'm gonna get my edge select again and extrude this region more. I'm gonna hold down R to whoa. Sorry, I'm gonna extrude that. I'm gonna rotate it. Oh, gosh, what am I doing? Get my vertex select and bring these in. Right? Sorry. Oh, what am I doing? Don't do that. Get my edge select again, extrude this region. That's not it. Okay, yes. Back to vertex select. Move. For this next, right here, we're going to create a loop cut. So push Control R. I'm going to go ahead and, with my vertex select, move that point. And I'm going to create another one here. And another one here. And you can just kind of see where you think if you need any more cuts anywhere. I'm going to come and select these vertices down here. Right click, merge vertices, and click at center. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it out of X-ray mode and go look at it in object mode. And we're going to go, ooh, what happened there? I've got some deformation there. So I'm going to go back into edit mode, see what the heck I did. So it seems like I maybe moved this point up. So I'm going to move it down, and it looks like I moved this also up. I'm going to go back into object mode. Zoom out here. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, next we want to go to subdivision. Go to the modifier and add the subdivision surface. Okay, and then you can kind of see here where you would need to kind of fix some things, like right here. So I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm going to add some more loop cuts. So I'm going to press Control R and drag this loop all the way over. And now I'm going to add another one and do the same thing, just drag it all the way over because I feel like I didn't get it the first time. Okay, so now I want to look at it in object mode. And I'm going to the modifier panel, select, add modifier. And I'm going to select solidify. And make sure that your plane is selected when you do this. I'm going to change this offset to 0. And I'm going to change my thickness here to 0.1. So as I'm looking at it, I can see my plane, my wing here is not connected to my rocket, so I need to fix that. I'm going to first get in my right viewpoint, and I'm going to move it down the z-axis. So now I can use my y-axis viewpoint, and I can line up my wing here right down the middle. Now we're going to right click on our plane and shade smooth. And now I'm going to go to our data properties and go down to normals and check auto smooth. And I'm going to add another modifier. I will select add modifier and go to array. And I want to uncheck. I'll make sure that my plane is selected, my wing, and uncheck relative offset, and then check object offset. Now I'm going to get that eyedropper, and I want to select my rocket. Now I want to select my rocket with the selection tool. I'm going to press Control A and select all transforms. Now I'll select the wing, and I want to down to array and change the count to 3. And with that wing still selected, I will again press Control A. And select all transforms. So now we're going to click in on our keyboard to bring up that side panel. We're going to select our rocket, and we're going to press R on the keyboard to begin rotating our wings. And now I'm just going to stop it here, and I'm going to type in 120 into the y-axis rotation. Now with our wing selected, we want to apply that modifier. And now we're going to go and create the window. So to do that, we'll go to Add Mesh Cylinder. And then we're going to go into Edit Mode. And I'm going to use the scale tool to make it smaller. And then turn on my X-ray mode so that I can see the window. I'm going to line it up and move it around so that it fits.
So now I'm going to make sure that I have face select, and I'm going to select that top face. Then I'm going to inset the face and bring it to the first black line. And then I'm going to inset it again to the next black line, and then one more time to the next black line. I'm going to go back and look at it in object mode, and I'm going to move this down and maybe scale it down so it's not so long. So I'm just moving it here down the z-axis. And I'm going to go back into edit mode and extrude the window to make it lower. And I'm going to go back into object mode to look at it again. And I think I'm going to bring this out a little more. So I'm scaling it inward, and now I'm going to move it up. And now I'm going to go back into edit mode and just extrude this in a little bit more, but it's not really letting me because of my bucket. So I'm bringing this up a little more. And then back into edit mode to extrude it back up a little. Then I'm moving it back down, back in object mode. Okay, so this is how I have it so far. You can do what you would like with that. So now I'm selecting the wings, and I'm just going to rotate them. I'm going to press R and Y so that I can rotate on the Y axis. And I'm just trying to line these up. So I have them set here, and I'm just going to look at it this way. So right now my middle wing is in the back, and it's supposed to be in the front, so I need to rotate it a little bit farther. So again, I'm pressing R and Y and just continuing to rotate that so that the one meets in the middle. Okay, so I did forget to extrude the other part of my window, so I'm going to go select my window and go back into edit mode. Make sure you have your face select. And I'm going to hold Alt and select this ring here. I want to extrude this ring inwards. And now I want to bevel this outer ring. So I'm going to have my face select. And I want to hold Alt and select these faces. And actually, I want to hold Alt and Shift so that I can select these outer rings also around it. So I'm going to get all three of them. So now I'm going to bevel these. And while I'm bringing this out, I want to scroll with my mouse to kind of curve those edges in and make them a little more rounded. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing to this inner ring. So I'm going to hold Alt and Shift and select these other faces here. And then select this, Alt and Shift, and select this inner layer and then the outer layer. Then I'm going to bevel this ring, bring it out, and scroll with my mouse to curve those, round those edges out. Now I'm going to check it out in object mode. And I feel like the inside of the window is way too much. So I'm going to scale, move this out so I can see what's going on and try to fix that. So now I'm going back into edit mode and I'm going to select this face down here and I'm going to extrude it back out because it was way too far in. And now I'll check it back in object mode. So I can now move it back down. Okay, and now I want to add a modifier to smooth out my window. Sorry, I'm going to go to the data properties and check auto smooth. And if that doesn't smooth it out enough, then you can definitely add the subdivision surface and shade smooth like we did before. Okay, so now we want to rename our layers. If we go to this cylinder layer, that should be our rocket. So let's go ahead and rename that rocket. Then our other cylinder layer should be our window. Okay, and now we're going to add our materials. So go to materials and you can select create a new material. And I'm going to name this main color. And I'm just going to choose white, but you're welcome to do whatever color you like for the main color of your rocket. And then we want to go to the material view up here so that we can see the colors of our rocket. So now I'm going to add a new color. This is going to be my red for my rocket. So I'm going to name it red and change that color to red. And again, this can be whatever color you want. And so to add this to the rocket, we need to do this in edit mode. And I'm going to turn on my X-ray. And actually, we need to go back into object mode because I don't have it selected. So you need to select your rocket and then go into edit mode and select the top of your rocket that has the color. Just kind of make sure you got it all selected there.
And I have my red color and I'm going to click assign to assign. I don't know if it did it. And I'll go back into object mode. And I have successfully done that. And now I can select my planes here. And I'm going to come down here because right now we don't have any colors in our planes, but we can come down here and choose that same red color, or unless you want to make it a different color. Again, that's completely up to you. And let me see again. They've got some gray going down here. So I'm going to go back and click on my rocket and add a new color. And I'm going to name this gray. And I'm going to find a gray color that I want to use. And now I need to go back into edit mode and select these panels down here. I think I got them all. Let me get out of X-ray. I think I missed maybe that piece, but that's okay. Let's see if I can add it. Okay. Oh, I didn't want that though. So I'll just do that extra part later. Okay. So I have that selected and I have my gray selected. I'm going to click assign. I'm going to come down here and get my oh, maybe it did do it. Yeah, it did. Okay. So now I have all that gray. Colors can be whatever you choose. And I also need to, hold on, I gotta see this again. Okay, so the inside of my window is also gray, and then I have my black outlines. So I have my window here selected for now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just make it all gray for now. So I'm gonna select my gray color, and then I can go into edit mode. Oh, that's gonna be tricky. I think I'm gonna make it all black instead. So go back to object. And I'm gonna add black. Bring this all the way down for black. And assign that. Then I will come in and select these faces and change those to gray. And then I'll need to find a blue color that I want to use here. So I'm adding a new color. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this because it wants to select both. Okay, so because this seems like this whole thing here is a full shape, because hold on, let me show you. So when I move this, it moves the whole entire thing because I messed up, didn't do it quite right. So what I'm just going to do is go into object mode. I'm going to insert a cylinder. And kind of do the same thing that I did earlier, but this is going to be the window since I can't, for whatever reason, cut out the window or make the window a different color. So I'm going to make sure it's all selected. Scale this first. Move it. Scale it. I just want the blue part of the window. And maybe a little bit smaller. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to turn off this X-ray mode and go look at it here in object mode. So I have that, so now all I need to do first I'm going to scale it inward so it's not so wide. And then I'll move it in. So now I should be able to, well, I'm going to move this one in a little bit more. Not that much. Okay, and that way I can move, go back to object mode, this one in a little bit more. Okay, maybe there. So now I'm going to go to my blue, and assign that. Then I'll turn back on my, not that one. Great. Go back to object mode. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Oh, looks like I missed some pieces here. So let me go try to fix that. Okay, so that's better. Make sure I got everything this time. And I'm going to go add those, try to add black here. So I'm going to click my rocket, go back into edit mode. Oops. Turn on X-ray. And attempt to select. Yeah, I have the face select on. I'm going to hold down Alt. And I selected that whole entire face. I'm going to go here and choose black and assign it. Okay, I'm going to scroll down here. Do the same thing, hold down Alt, select those faces, black assign, and see if that worked out okay. Nope, I turned the whole thing black. Okay, I'm going to leave it black because I like it better black than gray anyway. Go and mess with different, what is it, things here. Okay, so I have my colors how I want them, and I'm going to go ahead and delete my reference image because I'm done editing my rocket. And now what we need to do is set up our camera and lighting, add a background, and then we'll animate it.
So you can check that out in the next video.